Hey guys, this is DFD, aka Dark Frozen Depths, and it's been a while since I've done one of these type of videos, but this is more or less to do two things. One, I wanted to test out the webcam on this thing, because this is the first time I really used it since a new laptop. And second, just a few things I wanted to say about stuff that honestly I normally don't even talk about. Like the first one, I know there's been a lot of people that's talking about the coronavirus thing and probably beating it to the ground. I'm not going into details about that one, but I will say that honestly, with the whole coronavirus thing, I had to mention that there's a few sides to the whole thing it's a bit concerning, because there's people out there that either A, aren't taking this seriously, or B, are taking it too seriously. Like, for one, I don't believe this is going to be like some sort of like supposed world-ending pandemic or something like that. Honestly, if people just pretty much just more or less do what they're told, just like stay indoors, try to stay healthy, just do the normal stuff that you should have been doing in everyday life, there you go. I mean, I've heard stories, there's been people that's done honestly some stupid stuff, and I'll get into that later. But at the same time, there's also people that are like, they're just either, it's like they either don't care or they're just hitting the panic button way too much. Simple as that. But main thing about it is the fact that it has indeed shut down quite a lot of jobs out there. So I'm one of the people that's honestly unemployed right now, and I have been for a while before the coronavirus thing even hit, but now it's gotten even harder to find something. Thankfully, there's something in my country called unemployment compensation, so because of my last job, since I worked X amount of hours, got so much income, I'm still getting some income from the government, so there's that. But also is the fact that now that my YouTube has actually gotten a lot bigger, since I'd say a year or two ago, I can actually start making some money off of that too. So honestly, I'm not dependent on money because the unemployment compensation is working well enough, and I could probably still land a job if I'm lucky. But there's that too. So if you haven't seen my community tab, there's ads about that. But the coronavirus thing is more or less shut down a lot of companies and businesses. Honestly, I have a brother, he's not working at his because of that, but they got a way around it. So if you're one of those people, you're lucky, you still have some income. There's people like me where they may have another way around it. There's a few that's literally sitting back at home unemployed, so my condolences to those people. Unfortunately, there's not too much you can really do about it except for just keep trying, maybe you'll land something. But about the virus itself, honestly, if you do your research, you should be fine enough. Because more or less, the more I hear about it, the more this seems like a flu that's stronger than normal, if that makes sense. People have already died from the flu, people have already died from other diseases. This one, it's easier to do that if you have conditions. Me personally, I have a heart murmur and something called syncope. If you don't know what those are, look it up, but I can give you give it a basic little rundown, where the heart murmur, I have irregular heartbeats basically. And when it comes to syncope, there's a chance I can have like a random fainting spell, but I've learned ways to actually get around that. So there's that too. But another thing is that this virus is still highly contagious, so there's that. Even where I live, there's people that's actually gotten it, just not at my house or my neighborhood, thankfully, but there's been cases where I live at, and there's also been deaths as well, so unfortunately, nowhere is really safe from it. At the same time, don't panic too much, because like I said, people have been doing some stupid crap. I still gotta question what was people thinking when their first instinct was, oh crap, there's a virus, I have to go hoard toilet paper, of all things. You should be going after orange juice or medicine before you go after toilet paper. It makes sense that there's a lot of people getting stuff like bleach and disinfectants and all that. That's fine, but why toilet paper? But at the same time, there's also those that are just not giving a crap, where it's like, okay, you're still going out and about every day, you don't realize that you can either easily catch it, or just, you could even pass it on to somebody and you just don't know. Because the thing about that is the fact that even if you can't get affected by the coronavirus, other people can. So now it's more the time than ever to pretty much limit your physical contact with others. And that's probably why online stuff is starting to take a bit of a boom now too. And here's another 2 cases in point actually. There's been something where there's a lot of people that went on spring break, and well, they now can't come back simply because of the fact that they failed to realize, oh hey, major pandemic, cross country travel shut down. Why didn't you think that planes were going to get shut down, or buses that can sip and go across different types of borders or whatnot? That, I honestly have to say, there is people that was not thinking that through. Also, I'm not the type to really sit back and constantly blast feminists, even though I don't really like what they're doing. Now, to say that out the gate, I'm all for women's rights. I may play a lot of different games or whatever that has quote-unquote questionable content, but at the same time, I still do respect women. I have dated a few of them as well. And then on top of that, it's the fact that everybody should have equal rights. It doesn't matter what race or gender you are. But at the same time, there's a limit to how you go about things, because honestly, not too many people took feminists too seriously. And then on top of that, it was like that with PETA, but PETA's pretty much more or less stopped doing anything. But these feminists decided to go into Spain and do a 10,000 people march, a 10,000 person march in the middle of the coronavirus stuff. That was stupid. What were you thinking? Now Spain's one of the largest epicenters of the coronavirus. So I honestly have to call that one out. That's, oh boy, I feel bad for the people in Spain. I really do. But at the same time, it's a lack of knowledge, it's a lack of research, or it's just pure ignorance, and that's not cool. But also, on top of that too, is the fact that it could easily happen anywhere else if people just don't listen or pay attention. So, as mean as it may sound, take that as an example. I'm not saying to be completely heartless about what happened to people in Spain, because the coronavirus is everywhere, but at the same time, you don't want it to keep going. And also, I do have to point out that, granted, I do like some things that happen about the anime community, but this whole thing about the Corona-chan and Ebola-chan and all this stuff, like, no, guys, you're going too far. That's a little insensitive, if you ask me, because you're making a multi personification of a literal thing that can kill you. Like, I think we should have stopped the stuff like Earth-chan and Black Hole-chan and all that type of stuff. You're even doing stuff like Bleach and Tide Pod-chan, so who knows. But that's the thing. I love anime, I love manga, I love games, but there's some things I honestly can't agree with. Especially when people are praising when that yandere, the real life yandere actually did some stuff. It's like, no, she's still a killer. Do not do that. But getting back on topic, it's like they've memed Corona-chan basically at this point, even done lewds of her, and it's like, no, not for me, thank you. But honestly, all I can say is, like, if you keep your wits about you, do your research, and just stay healthy, stay clean, you'll definitely make it through. You just have to keep your wits about you, and just be wary of actually who comes around you as well, even if they're a family member, because I'm not saying to completely cut them off, but everybody should be aware of everybody's certain situation, because even a homeless person that you decide to help out is like, oh, can I have a few dollars? You give them some money. Maybe you suddenly got the coronavirus because of the fact that just that quick little exchange of money somehow led to something. You never know. You really never know. But now is probably a time more than ever where people need to work together, or even just do enough on your own part, at the very least. Like, even if you're looking out for number one, at least do it the right way. Because, like I said, it's a serious event, but it's not serious to the point where everybody has to panic like everything's just going to pretty much hell in a happy handbasket. But that's all I really have to say about that. I honestly felt like I had to do this video. I mean, I'm a content creator that does stuff on practically games, and well, I had to speak up about it myself. So honestly, share this video if you want, but personally, this is just my thoughts and feelings on the matter, and honestly, like I said, I'm really not the type to really like take national issues and like talk about them on my channel or whatever, but this is something that's worldwide too. I mean, case in point, I have this thing beside me. This is a Dakimakura of Alice in Wonderland. That's just proof of how much of quote-unquote weeb I can be. But this is something that people have to take seriously. There's times where you have to like step up and actually pay attention. At the same time, don't panic. Don't go completely overboard. I mean, even going back to the toilet paper thing, people have actually broken into other people's houses and stole toilet paper. What were you thinking? One, it's bad enough to steal, and two, if you're stealing stuff, it's toilet paper you're stealing, the worst thing you could steal. I'm not condoning theft at all, but at the same time, you're doing the dumbest of thefts. I feel like you should be on one of those compilations of World's Dumbest Thieves if you're pulling that crap off. But like I said, just be aware of your situation, be aware of others. Now's more time than ever to possibly even be kind or courteous or whatever too, because who says you have to do something like go in person and donate if need be? You can send money out online or whatnot. There's a few places I'm thinking about possibly donating to as well, so there's that too. Not to mention there's a lot more to this than you might know, and as far as I've heard, this isn't the first time the coronavirus has popped up, but that could still be a rumor, and even if it isn't the first time, they didn't know enough about it the first time anyway, so there's that possibility. I just like looking at things from multiple angles. But anyways, this video's gone on long enough. I'm gonna pretty much end it there. Like I said, that's pretty much my thoughts and feelings about the whole matter, but quite frankly, just keep your wits about you and just stay safe out there. But anyways, that's all for now, guys, and I'll just be going back to my normal stuff where I'm just uploading videos about games and all that. Check that out if you want. I'm designing my own game as well, but other than that, all I can say is just do what you need to do in order to get through this, because it's not like it's going to last forever. I mean, granted, it probably could last a long time, but it's not going to last forever. But anyways, that's all for now, guys. Take care.